Hey, friends! I'm Jesse Fisco.
And I'm Ambry Fisco.
As founders of several successful businesses, we've experienced absolute joy and satisfaction working together to build our empire.
Our journey started off as a small business idea and has launched into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It would have never been possible had Jesse and I not understood the key principles of making it all work together. But it has not been easy.
We found ourselves in the trenches trying to balance real life with business life while maintaining our strong commitment to creating an amazing marriage.
And we've emerged in a beautiful way together. This podcast was created to help you do what we've done, build an amazing marriage together while maintaining balance between life and business.
So here we are. You're listening to the Matrimonial Merger, a couple's guide to balancing life and business.
Let's get started.
Welcome to the Matrimonial Merger. Jesse and Ambry here today, and today we're going to talk about your words being a symbology of what you truly believe inside, and how some of you are saying, oh yes, I want success, but the words you speak are showing that you're okay with average. So we're going to jump right in. Welcome to the Matrimonial Merger.
Thanks for being here, everybody, and it's good to be back.
You are back.
I appreciate Jesse taking one for the team last week when I was not feeling the best.
Absolutely.
But I mostly...
Last week was tough.
Last week was crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
All three of you were sick.
Yeah.
That was...
Both our kids and me.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Jesse was taking care of us all, and he probably had a little bit of a crazy week.
Yeah, but you know what?
Trying to keep everything together, but we did it.
We're good. We're sitting here. We're recapping the week, drinking a Coke. Everything's good. It's a good day. Well, awesome. Yeah. Well, today we want to talk about what you're speaking. Did you know your words are actually a symbology of what you truly believe inside? Have you ever talked to someone and they say something along the lines of like, oh, I just need this to be happy? Or maybe you've caught yourself saying that. Oh, I just need to make $50 this week.
Yeah.
Cover the gas in my car or whatever. Have you ever heard someone like that?
Yeah, totally. Or like we've, I think, mentioned this before where like somebody says one thing, but their body language says something different. So like...
this one's my favorite.
Yeah, this is Jesse's favorite one ever. So like you ask someone like, how are you? How's your business? Whatever. And like, while they're saying like it's great or I'm doing really good, they're like shaking their head no. So it's like, well,
I caught myself doing that the other day.
Did you really?
I did. And like the minute
I
caught myself, I was like, hold on. Actually, like I had to go back and recap as to why I was saying that.
Or all of a sudden you're like, hold on, why am I saying this, but my body is not agreeing?
Yeah.
It's not aligned.
It was crazy.
That's so funny. My microphone's getting... Is my microphone still working? Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Still working. We're getting comfortable here.
I hit it with my knee. Anyways, but yeah, that one's always interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
You see, what you're doing though is it's a big problem. Your words are what is reflecting inside. So if you ever sat back and just listened to yourself talk, right? Just record yourself for a minute and listen to the way you have a conversation. Maybe you record yourself during a sales call. Maybe you record yourself just speaking for a few minutes to your spouse. I mean, what you'll find is a gold mine of beliefs and installments and programs. Yeah. And it's unreal what you'll find in there.
It's kind of scary.
It is. But if you start taking it seriously and saying, the words that I am speaking are a reflection or a symbol of exactly what I feel on the inside, maybe, just maybe, there's more work that you could actually pay attention to internally on working on who you want to become.
And it's eye-opening because you find like, oh, well, no wonder I'm attracting this and that because, that's exactly what you're focusing on in your mental space.
Yeah.
This
is an interesting boom moment I found. Is recently we've been working with someone that has committed quite a bit of fraud. Actually, this year has been the year of fraud for us. And I
Not for us, but for people around us.
People around us. We've experienced fraud at a high level, and it's been really interesting. But one of the things that we did last week is just kept asking ourselves, like, what is the purpose of this? Why do I keep receiving this? And why, like, what do I need to change? Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that there was two really big things that came to mind. Number one, I think we hit it a little bit last week, was accountability and just taking full ownership of like the situation and not relying on other people to make you money, right? Not that passive income idea that all you do is invest and money just comes to you. Like, you should be able to do that, and it is possible, but you've got to know your stuff first.
Yeah, you have to understand, and I mean, I think regardless of how passive anything is or how effortless it is, like, there is some sort of effort at some point that goes into, whether it's like researching, being, understanding a process, understanding like the risk involved, understanding, all these things. Like, there's some kind of effort that, an energy effort that should be exchanged regardless. So whether it's time, money, whatever that is, like, there's, typically some kind of energy exchange there to create anything that is considered passive.
Yeah. And that was one of the first things that I learned really quickly. And the second thing I realized is that in real estate, you guys have to understand there's a lot of things that can happen within the transaction. And a real estate agent's job is to keep things under control. And there are times where you will not go into full detail about certain things within the transaction with the other party, right? Your goal is just to keep everything mellow and happy and not get emotions high, because it is a stressful situation. And I've found that one of the biggest things I learned from that is that because I would do that in certain situations, like try to keep the peace, because I wasn't just being 100%, that maybe that was something I was attracting as people that weren't being 100% with me. And that was a huge, like, once again, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. All I'm saying is that it was one of those, okay, I've got to be more, I just have to be 100% in all things, in my communication. Like, even if it's not the best news, there's no point in sugarcoating it. You just be 100%, and then you have a solution, right? All of us are fine if there's a solution behind it, but if you're just sugarcoating it, ultimately it will reflect. It will attract other people that sugarcoat, right?
Well, I think, and it obviously, like, the context and the situation is important, right? Because, like, let's say in like real estate, let's say like you have a seller who is very motivated to sell, like they have to sell their house,
right?
And really, they could sell it for $50,000 less than what they've listed for if they got an offer, but like they have to sell it. You're not going to go tell a buyer that. Like, if you have a buyer interested in putting an offer in, you're not going to be like, oh, you could probably, offer $50,000 less, because your responsibility is to, get your seller as much money as possible. Granted, you're not going to like let someone walk away if you know that there's, that you have some leverage. Like, you're going to be very strategic about it, but you're not just going to like go, hey, just throw in any old offer, you'll get it, because they literally have to sell. Like, you're not going to give all those negotiating chips out. But, on the same hand, like if you have let's say you have a buyer on a house and something's going wrong or going south, on the same hand, you have a responsibility to go tell your seller and let them know exactly what's going on, so that they have a realistic expectation if there's something that they need to be aware of, right? So, like, it's being honest and transparent without, not like sugarcoating things or, making something look better than it is. That's important. And also, and in every line of work, like, that is so important to be real. Like, you're going to be smart and strategic, and you're going to negotiate. That's part of it. But like, just be real. Like, you do not serve yourself or anyone else when you are like being untruthful or just not, giving the full picture of something, like it only serves you poorly. Like, and if we're talking about like the symbols and like how what you think and say and the way that you live your life is literally a symbol of, what you're going to attract and what your life is going to be for you. Like, you wouldn't want that.
Right.
You wouldn't want to live that way.
It's interesting. And so, like, I want to take a deeper dive because there's one thing I really, really want to hit is if you're using the word just a lot, I think that this is something I was talking to you about, and you were just kind of like, I never thought of it this way. But the word just...
It was an aha moment.
The word just could be short for justify, right?
Yeah.
Literally, 4 of the 7 letters in the word justify is in the word just. And maybe it's just short for justify.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking to you as the listener and you're telling me, I just need $5,000, what you're telling me is you're okay with the average.
Justifying.
You're justifying, and you're telling me you're okay with the average right now of what you're living.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you just need the bare minimum. What you're telling me in a deeper sense is that you don't love yourself or give yourself permission to go for more. You just need this to be happy. So you're also telling me you've put a lid on your potential. You've put your shark in the shark tank.
Yeah.
Or in the fish tank, right?
Yeah.
And that is where I really want to hit it home for some of you, because for some of you right now listening, you use the word just in everything you say. I just need French fries. I just need this. And what you're telling yourself is you don't need much more than that.
You're not being honest with yourself about, what you actually want.
Right.
Because if you want something different, then that should be what you need. And then we've talked about this a little bit before too, where it's like, you gotta create a new zero in your mind. Like, zero has to have a new definition than, the actual numeric value of 0. Like, you've got to change that in your mind and in your goals and your life. Like, if you just need, let's say $5,000 a month to survive, to, pay the bills and live the life that you currently enjoy, or even maybe a little less, but like, it's okay, you're fine. Like, and if that's what you're telling yourself, then of course your mind isn't, looking for resources to make the $10,000 a month that you really want.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, well, I love to make $10,000 a month. Like, that would be amazing, incredible. Like, that would do so much good for me, for my family, for our situation, for our future, whatever it is. But then, like, in the back of your mind, or even verbally, you're telling someone, but like, I just need $5,000 a month. Like, really, that's just what I need.
Yeah.
You're completely like being dishonest with yourself, and
I had a conversation with someone, and I said, how much money do you need to make a year? And he's like, well, I need to make this much. And it was a low number. Mm-hmm. And I was like, really? Why? He's like, well, that's what I need to make to pay the bills. And I said, well, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
and
that's not what he wants.
Yeah, it was like, what do you want to make? And the number he gave me was like, it was 7 figures. We're talking like what, $60,000, but then he's telling me he wants to make $1 million. It was so interesting because it was like, so what you truly want isn't what you need. And so how do you convert what you need to becoming like what you want?
Yeah.
Like, your want is your need. How do you do that? And it was so interesting because as I was explaining to that, I was like, to this individual, I was like, can you see the huge gap of like,
that's a big gap.
Let me ask you a question. If I was to offer you $1 million with no work, anyone would take that.
Sure.
Right? But the thing is it's easy. And the reason why you would take that is because it's really easy. Now, if I offered you $10 million with 20% more effort, it would still be easier to take the $1 million than it would to be taking the 10. Because you know that $1 million could just come to you and you would have in your mind all your dreams come true. And that's the thing is, our bodies are the exact same way. Our bodies would say, you know what, just give me the million, right? I just need this, and give me the free and the easy.
And your body's going to take the path of least resistance unless you've convinced it otherwise that, there's enough reward on the other end.
Exactly. And so it was interesting because I was like, isn't it funny that you've never even gotten close to $1 million? It's always been 60. And in some cases, it's hard to get to 60. And I'm like, why is it so hard to get to 60? And the answer was, well, I just, right? I just feel like this, and I just don't know if I can do more. And honestly, at that point, I looked at him and said, the minute you start to justify is the minute your dreams and goals start to die.
Yeah, that's very true.
And he just kind of looked at me like, didn't know what to say.
But that's why words are so important, because they're defining.
They are defining.
You're not just describing something, you're defining it. And I think if you can truly grasp that, you're going to be a lot more careful about the words that come out of your mouth. Not only that, though, the words that are in your mind that you think, the words that you think, because there's, thousands of words every day, if not more, that go through your mind.
Yes.
That are just as powerful as those that are physically verbalized and spoken.
Correct.
Those, those thoughts and the words and the things that you're telling yourself in your mind are powerful.
Well, and let's talk about that for a minute, because we went and did this energy mapping thing, and Ambry and I both lacked a lot of energy in the throat based off this energy map. And the energy map itself represents how you want to be at 70%. I think
it was 55 is the optimal
55
or something like that.
Plus is optimal. Ambry and I were both at 14?
I was 13. Yeah. You were at 14% on the throat chakra.
On the throat chakra. And we were freaking low. Everyone else was fine.
Some of the other ones were 40 to even 70%.
I mean, I think my mind was 80. It was super high. I'm a thinker, right?
Yeah. Then they were saying too, the difference between your lowest number and highest, lowest score and highest score between your chakras should be around 20 to 22 difference. I don't remember what yours was, but mine was 50.
Right. It was unreal.
So the difference between the throat, the lowest one and the highest one was unreal.
Well, and it was interesting because the gentleman that was doing the energy map for us, he's like, okay, you guys just don't speak. It's
we're whatever, we talk all the time.
Right. And we're we freaking run podcasts, do videos. We always speak. And he's like, no, you don't truly speak. And what I found there was interesting was just the fact that we are very there's times where we have made decisions not to say something and just move forward and allow things to get out of the way. Right? If someone says, hey, you guys suck, right? Instead of embracing that and going and having a conflict, it's just better off to just move away.
Oh my gosh, my microphone is having issues over here. Well, and it was cool because when he was talking to you, he was saying you need to say what you're feeling. You just need to say it.
Right.
Speak.
Yeah.
And for me, it was it was along the same lines, but he said he suspected for me that when I say something, I'm not saying it with the emotion attached. So if I'm telling someone that I'm having a really bad day, I'm over here smiling and happy, and I'm it's been really hard, and I'm extremely exhausted, but I'm so good. But it's not really true. And it's not, I think being a positive person is a gift. It's a great thing.
Right.
But when you are expressing an emotion or a feeling, he was you need to be aligned. You need to, if you're frustrated, say it as if you're frustrated. If you're happy, say it as if you're happy. Right. If not, there's some kind of misalignment there where you either are or are not experiencing that emotion. Well,
and it's interesting too, because we talk about the people that say, oh, business is great, while they're shaking their head no. You guys, your body is not an idiot. Your body can tell. And that's what Ambry and I are saying is mine, there's a lot of times where I see something and I want to say something, but I'm also like, it's not worth the conflict. It's not worth the crap that's going to follow by opening my mouth. I'll just move forward and get out of the way. Ambry, on the other hand, right, like doesn't say it with the emotion attached to it because she's a positive thinking individual. But your body, both of our bodies, what we learned here is that our bodies recognized and there was low energy there.
Right. And you have to be honest with yourself because he also mentioned like when you, like in my case, when I, have a certain feeling or emotion and I'm not being transparent or honest about it, I'm not only like not saying it exactly how it is, I'm suppressing that negative feeling or emotion into my body, which could lead to,
heartburn is something he said.
Like other just dis-ease in some way.
Right.
Like it causes
neck pain, shoulder pain. It was
tension. So, I mean, it just goes to show that you're not serving yourself by being, misaligned or dishonest with yourself and your own feelings, emotions, goals, like all of those things, your dreams. Like if you're not aligned and you're not being transparent with yourself, for one, how are you going to go out and, be that way in your relationships with other people, right? But it's
unreal. And like the fact is that by you not speaking what you truly believe or saying what you truly want, you're justifying and saying the things that you just need, right? Just to get by. You're actually sucking the energy out of your body. And that's something that we were learning too, is like we sat there and we talked about it and we're like, okay, so why are some areas darker on this map? Like what it does is, I guess to kind of backtrack, is you put your hand on a sensor and it picks up all the electromagnetic field in your body, and then it portrays it based off of the amount of energy that's received. And there are some areas where you can see that are super dark for some people, and some areas that are very, very bright. And it's so crazy because your body is so connected to your mind, and it uses your words. Like what you literally are saying is an expression of all the emotions going inside. Like you want to talk about being an amazing salesperson. You understand this. You talk to someone, you literally know exactly how they're feeling inside and what pressure points to hit as a salesperson. It changes the entire environment, and it changes the level of playing field because you're more aware of yourself actually helps you be more aware of other people. It's so unreal.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, it's interesting that we tend to jump to a justification in a lot of situations though, right? Like, and as I'm thinking about it, it really is like, it's a disservice to yourself and what you really want for one, right? But why do we do that? And I think that like, I mean, it's a program, right? It's something that, it's just, you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of automatic. It's like, but what emotion is attached to that? I mean, I think sometimes it could be guilt, fear.
I think a lot of it's to do with fear
and guilt. But like, think about like, if you're talking to somebody and you are maybe expressing like a huge goal you have, is there something in the back of your mind that's saying like, you don't deserve that, or this person isn't taking you seriously, or this person,
that's interesting.
Like, you start to feel like that guilt or fear, whatever it is, right? Yeah. And so it's like you've got like your inner child that's like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm so excited. Like, this is great. But then you have all these emotions based off past experience that start flooding in and going like, oh, but what about this? Or, oh, how is this person viewing you? Or, what makes you think you deserve that? Blah, blah, blah. All these things creep in. And then that's when all of a sudden you're like in justifying. And then you're like, but I mean, I really just need this. But it'd be so cool to do that. And I mean, it's so interesting because you're completely negating everything that you expressed. Like you're sabotaging yourself.
And not only that, it might be the person sitting across from you. Here's an example. I go tell someone my goal, $250 million in the next 10 years. That is my goal. If you're listening and going, yeah, right. you would not be in my environment.
Yeah.
You would not be talking to me, because the minute you start to project your limiting beliefs because of your fears, I don't want to hear it. And I'll stop you right there. If we were talking, I love you as a listener, but if you start portraying your negative beliefs on how that's impossible, I will stop you and I'll walk away.
Yeah. But that's something that takes,
Right.
some intention, because as individuals, like a lot of us are naturally people pleasing, right? Or like we want to keep this sense of like peace, comfortability. Like you don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. And so you're adjusting the way you're saying something, or even what you're saying in general, to like almost step over a bound of like respecting someone else's model of the world, because it's okay if the way you choose to live and the goals you have don't necessarily align with someone else's model of the world. It's okay. It doesn't like take away from their goals or their intentions or what they are trying to do with their life. It doesn't, I would even say it doesn't add or take away, but I think a lot of times we do add to each other with, with our goals and intentions if we allow ourselves to. But you need to feel nothing but like freedom and being limitless in your own goals and intentions, because the minute that you allow somebody else's doubt, fear, or your own to creep in, like that's where the justifications come. And that's where you're like, oh yeah, that'd be great, but I just need this. And then it's like, well, then that's what you're going to get, if that.
Yeah. And I want to hit you as a listener with this right now. If you're projecting negativity on someone else and their dreams and goals, it's because you don't know what your own.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you knew your own, you'd want them to win, because you know how important it is for you to win at yours.
Yeah, you'd be curious about how can we help each other? Like how can we actually like support each other's goals and not, doubt them and say, oh, you or I don't deserve this, or that's crazy. Absolutely. Or, I mean, because all those things are based on past experience.
Yep.
What about right now? Like, we're not living in the past. We're living right now. So we got to stop. I mean, learn from it, obviously. Like the past is a beautiful thing to learn from and to empower us and to give us tools, right?
Yes.
However, don't live in it. Like the past is not coming. It's gone. It's in the past.
I got to read you this text. We haven't talked about this, but one of the things that has been interesting with Emerge coaching has been the amount of people surrounding us and that want us to win. Mm-hmm. From the person that helped us design the program, to the person that has done the videos, to now the sales team that is helping us push out our Emerge coaching. Mm-hmm. I sent him a text yesterday, and I just said, he sent me the invoice over and is like, let's get going. And I said, we have no choice but 250 million. The sooner we hit that, the better for more people. And he responds and he says, I can't agree more. And he said, where is it? He says, you are a billionaire. You just need to continue to nourish the seeds. So like, not only did he tell me a higher number than what my goal was.
He encouraged and validated your goal and then was like, let's crush that.
He legit just told me, he said, you are a billionaire, sir, perhaps in seed form, but that is God's way. First a seed, then a massive tree. We are getting this. Followed by 4 pumped up emojis, right?
Nice.
Okay. Are you telling that to other people when they say their goal?
Yeah.
Are you that type of winner?
The type of mindset and people that you have in your like close circle, like in, the people that you interact with daily, weekly, whatever, hourly, I don't know. It matters so much. Like the energy that you are giving and receiving matters more than anything.
Absolutely. You see, here's the thing. We all dream. We all have this idea of who it is we can become. We know.
As we should.
We have intuition of who it is we could become. You lay in bed at night and you can envision yourself doing that very thing, whether it's coaching people, whether it's speaking to millions of people, whether it's curing world hunger, whatever the case
sharing
is,
your story, sharing your knowledge, something like,
and you know it already.
Yeah.
You feel it. It's a God-given gift to know. And the thing is you've got to find the people just like this gentleman, Brett, who says, I see more. And you're a billionaire. You're in seed form. You're making the right steps, but I'm going to help you. There's no other choice. So he validates my goal, tells me exactly what I need to hear. Like, you can do it. All right. And then he tells me even more. I actually see more in you. If you guys are straight and know what you are doing and what you're working towards, you will have meaningful conversation, just like Brett had in my life, for other people, because you know. But the minute you start projecting your limiting beliefs on other people, it is a clear, freaking crystal clear projection.
Terrible relationship.
That you yourself are not aligned and you don't even know what you want. And if you start noticing that in other people, have empathy for them because they're misaligned, but you don't listen to it.
Yeah. Well, and if you have a more flexible, more powerful mindset, it may not even affect you.
Yeah.
And you can reach out to that person and, elevate them in the way that you can, or the power that you have. Right. But not allow it to even enter your world or your mindset.
One of the songs I listen to, he says, I don't know, what does it say? I don't know people who are winning that take time to leave negative comments.
Yeah.
Right?
What, is that EGOT?
Yes, it's EGOT by Connor Price. But that lyric is so true.
Awesome song.
If you're winning, you don't have time for negative comments.
Yeah.
You don't have time to be sitting there focusing on why this person can't be successful. In fact, you want them to succeed.
And then those negative comments sift away to nothing in your mind, because you're like, I'm winning. I am winning. on this journey of winning. If other people have time to leave negative comments, they're not on that path to winning, and it's okay. It doesn't mean that, you hate them or that whatever, but it's okay to brush it off. Leave it in the dust where it belongs.
100%.
Pray for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And help them understand that they can win too. Be the example, right?
Yeah.
Because all it takes is seeing one person win and someone goes, man, I can do that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they start doing it.
Yeah.
And they're winning. But be an example of winning, because there's not a lot of that out there.
And there's nothing cooler than watching, especially social media. It's a love-hate thing, but watching on social media somebody receive those quote unquote negative comments and the way they respond. Holy crap. When you see someone respond in such a powerful, refined, amazing way, it's holy crap. You literally, you didn't feed their, negativity. You literally showed your character, showed your, intention, and you move on with your life.
Yep.
And that, I love that. I'm always oh my gosh. But when you have the people that, stoop to that level and start this argument with some random person on the internet, it's
yeah.
What, why are you using your time that way, for one, right?
Right.
But then you could have done so much good in that situation. You could have potentially influenced other people who are watching you.
Right.
Anyways.
I had one.
I always love that.
I had one where this guy's you're an idiot, get a real job. And I messaged him back. I sent a comment back and said, hey man, appreciate you watching. Just, if you're ever in Utah, I'd love to grab lunch. Right? Just very, very nice. Hey, come visit sometime. Would love to catch up. Not abrasive. He messages back publicly on a comment and says, I'm just messing. He's I really actually admire what you do. And, appreciate the
awesome
content. And the thing is it triggered him, right? He went back and realized, actually, no, I admire what this guy's doing.
But what happened is he expected a certain response,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And then when that didn't happen, it was oh, wait,
But it doesn't matter what the masses think.
No.
And it doesn't matter. You see, the thing that we keep telling you is you might go to a Christmas party coming up here, and there might be that uncle, that aunt, that mom, that dad, that brother, that sister that says, dude, stop. Your goals suck. You're not going to hit it. And you know what? At that moment, you have the choice to either accept or reject. Mm-hmm. And you have that moment to say, you know what? Hey, I appreciate your concern. I'm winning and I'm doing very well. And you have that opportunity to tell them. But if you don't allow yourself and give yourself permission to win and you start to justify, you can kiss that dream goodbye.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to hit it until you are 100%, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going for.
That's a big deal because, I mean, we care about those that typically care about, you know, the way those that we love think about us, right? Sure. And, you know, we have to have boundaries within that.
Right.
Because of the very situation you just brought up. But I guess, like, since the holidays are upon us and family gatherings are upon us, like, a suggestion I would offer in those situations is, like, if you're receiving flack or, you know, negativity, limited beliefs or whatever from those that you love, like, I mean, that can be painful. That can be awful. Like, that feels terrible because you're like, you're the person that should believe in me the most, should, you know, give me the most encouragement. And Jesse and I were talking about this the other day. Sometimes it's interesting watching and seeing the people that are really cheering you on versus those that are not. And it surprises you sometimes because
it's never who you think.
It's not who you would imagine. But be ready, you know, to take those situations for what they are and to move on. But one thing that I would say is, like, if you truly believe this person has your best interest in mind and, you know, would want you to win and succeed, it's okay to remind them of that and say, yes, you know, like, I really appreciate your care. I appreciate your concern. I realize that you care so much about me and that your support and your, like, whatever you want to call it, your support, your love is crucial in my journey of what I'm doing and where I want to go. I know, and you know, that you want what's best for me. And I am currently, like, so happy with what I am doing.
Yep.
I am, like, I believe in what I'm doing. It means a lot to me. And I know that you would want to support that because you want what's best for me and you want me to be happy. What the freak are they going to say to that? Like,
they're going to walk away.
I don't want you to do that because I don't want you to be happy and, like, shining and living your best. No. Like, come on.
It's my favorite. And
it's all about that language, though. Like,
it is. It's all about the language, and it's understanding what you want, right? And going after it. One of my favorite things is my stepdad. He is the greatest guy. And he is very, very...
so full of love.
Very full of love. Also opinionated and believes certain things, right? Because he's seen things.
Yeah.
And he wants to protect us. And I go to him and I ask. And there's been times where I've asked for his opinion. And there's been times where it's like from a higher level, right? Like, what would you think? And I'll never forget when we first jumped into our entrepreneurial journey. It's like, Jesse, why are you doing that? You had a good job. Like, good things, right? And he just questioned. It was never like you know, he did tell me I was crazy. He'll still tell me that from time to time. Like, what are you doing?
In a very loving way.
But
like,
it's always
nuts, Jesse.
full of love. But I'll tell you
always
what,
support.
One of the coolest things that ever happened is when we picked him up, took him in the McLaren, and he experienced that. And all of a sudden, he was like telling everyone how cool it was. Then when I pulled up in my Porsche and took him in the Porsche and explained to him how much more and how much cooler that was, he looked at me and said, I am proud of you. He's like, you are doing things that I've never experienced. And this is just amazing. You're showing me that you can go after and get the things you want. And that was a moment for me. You see, if I would have listened to him in the beginning of all these, like, oh, no, that's not possible. You know, that you're crazy. Had I listened to that, I would have never had that tender moment of, Jesse, what it came down to is, I don't know if I could have done that. And you're showing me that I can. And it's, once again, people, with all due respect, it comes back down to knowing what you truly want and going after it and not allowing the environment to change. I mean, yes, there will
conviction behind it.
There will be kids, there will be family, there will be divorce in some cases, there will be all sorts of things that happen. But if you stand true to what you want, then all those things will continue to evolve around you and work with you, assuming that that's what you want. If you want to have a happy marriage, you want to have great kids, like a great relationship with your kids, and you want to be successful, you can have that. Yeah. Yes, it will take energy, but it will take just as much energy away from you physically in your body by not doing the things you want, because you will grow tired and your energy map will be less because you're not doing the things you want. And that's science. We
Spend your
learned
energy
that
doing the
2
things
weeks
you
ago.
don't want rather than what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it takes just as much energy to make a negative decision as it does a positive.
Yeah.
And it takes just as much energy to sit on the couch as it does to get up and mow the lawn, right? Like, it's your choice.
Especially if you're sitting on the couch thinking about it, because if you're thinking about it, your body
is already producing.
Doesn't know the difference.
Right, your body's already producing the energy.
We mowed the lawn 20 times in our mind. I'm exhausted, but there's still grass out there.
Exactly. That's something too that we could talk about. But at the end of the day, what you truly believe, watch what you're saying.
Yeah.
Be attentive for the next week. Just think about the things you're saying. More importantly, the things you're saying internally, right? When you go to swipe your card, are you saying, man, that's expensive?
Sometimes.
Or are you saying, hey, this is a great energy exchange and I'm going to be able to make more money?
So glad I could afford this and deserve this.
Right.
And, yeah.
Exactly. What are you telling yourself internally? Or when someone goes, hey, how's your day? Oh, my day sucks. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's your choice, right? But choose your words.
Yeah. Language is important. I think my main takeaways today are what you say and think are so important, and the people that you surround yourself with and the way you respond to those that, maybe are giving some pushback or negativity is crucial. And just as one final thought from me, if you don't believe in yourself and you're not all in on yourself and committed to what you want and your goals and your ambitions, and you haven't given yourself permission, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, why would you expect anyone else to do that for you?
Yes.
You got to believe in yourself. You've got to, be your biggest cheerleader. Yep. And then why wouldn't you attract those around you that want the same for you? But if you're not, if you're over there doubting and sabotaging, then you're going to attract the people that are going to doubt and sabotage your goals. So if you want to attract the people who are going to remind you that your worth is double, triple, quadruple what you currently see it, or that your goals are valid and you can freaking do it.
You can.
If you want to attract those people, you need to be that person for yourself.
100%.
And then you'll attract it. And gosh, I mean, the people around you, it's so powerful. And so imagine what could happen if everyone you interact with day to day actually supports and encourages and empowers you on your journey.
Amazing.
What would that do for you?
Holy crap. I don't know.
It starts with you.
It starts with you. And my biggest takeaway from this is that your words are an outer expression to your internal strength and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so what you say is truly a reflection of what you believe on the inside.
Be true.
And are you strong or are you weak? I'm going to allow you as a listener to make that decision. You guys, thanks so much for listening to Matrimonial Merger. I freaking love this every time. And I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad to be back.
Your insight is so wise. You're like the wise young owl that lives in the oak, right?
The young owl.
The young owl. And it's so great because your wisdom continues to be on the show every single week. And I love it.
It's way more fun together.
You were missed dearly, especially for the listener that listened last week. It was just me yelling at the mic.
Yeah, it was good though.
It was fire.
It was
fire. But yes, I bet some are like, I really missed that, Ambry.
Or people were like, dang, that was just straight solid. It was great. But yeah, I remember last week, sitting on the couch, I was just like, oh, I just did not feel my best. And then all of a sudden I hear Jesse recording the podcast from last week. And at first I was like, who's he yelling at? What's happening? And then I just started laughing because I'm like, oh, bring in the fire like you do every week. Fire. So
you guys,
thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate you as, our friends and this community and
it's amazing
support. We love it. So
we'd love to ask for an honest feedback. And to share your opinion on the show, what we can do better.
Yeah, and give us some ideas too. We love when topic ideas or questions come that spark what we're going to talk about next. So send us some thoughts. What are you going through right now? What's what feedback are you receiving? What questions do you have? What are you curious about?
Yeah.
And we'd love to
that'd be so much fun.
Chat about that specifically.
It would be so cool to receive a message from someone listening that truly needs help and we could provide them a one-on-one coaching podcast.
Yeah,
literally,
and imagine
for
what that will
listener.
be like for you when you send that question or curiosity, and then, next week or the week after, whatever, to hear us talking about that and
Directly to you.
Like, I think that'd be sweet. So let's
Just for the record, people pay us around $20,000 for this. So this is a great opportunity for you to get the same experience of a $20,000 coaching call.
Maybe not the same, but like a
coaching podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yes. All right. I love it.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
listening.
for being here. Happy December. It's December. What the freak happened?
It's going fast. But time goes fast when you're doing what you love.
And you're having fun.
Well, appreciate you listening. Please leave us a honest review. And we look forward to talking to you guys next week.
Have a good one.